Hi, my name's Romichelle, and along with my husband Ryan and our three kids, we operate Circle Our Livestock and Revolution Wool Company here near Elmira, Ontario. I'm going to take you on a little bit of tour, tell you about the farm and the sheep, and then show you some of our wool. We've been farming here for about 13 years now. We started out about 15 years ago with 25 sheep and have grown substantially. Our goal has always been to be home full time on the farm for both my husband and I. So that big step involved a big expansion in 2018 where we built our brand new barn and expanded our flock. So we have about 900 ewes on our farm and some chickens as well. So it's a lot of work, but it's what we love to do, and we really enjoy working with the sheep. They're an amazing animal, and they're capable of a lot of things. So these are some of our fields where we grow the forages and the hay for the sheep. Not much to see right now, but there's lots of good things going on under that snow. We focus a lot on no-till and sustainable crop rotation and things like that. To us, sustainability just means always trying to improve and trying to do better. And sustainability or regenerative, it means different things to different farmers. But for us, we do things like no-till, cover crops, crop rotation. We're also doing soil tests to figure out the nutrient value in the soil, and then balancing any additional manure or fertilizer that we put on based on those requirements and the crop growth. The feed that we feed our sheep is mostly all stored feed. So these big silos hold a lot of the corn silage, so whole chopped corn plants and the different kinds of hay. And we also use different bales and things like that. We have an animal nutritionist who comes to, she samples all the feed and tests it and then balances it based on the different production cycles that the sheep are on. This is one of our barns here, and in that barn we do breeding, and we have a group outside as well. And over here is the new barn that we built a few years ago to expand our flock. So these are some of the sheep that are breeding with the rams right now. We manage our whole flock on a year-round basis, so there's always a group that is breeding, there's a group that's lambing, a group that has baby lambs, and then a group that is pregnant. So we're always cycling through those four groups. So the reason we have those four different groups is just to split up the workload. We do have a lot of sheep with the 800 to 900 ewes that we are running, so it spreads all of that out and just allows us to spread out our income a little bit more throughout the year. There are a number of different breeds that we work with on the farm. The goal for our sheep is to produce meat lambs, so that is our number one requirement when picking sheep. We have a lot of Dorset influence. They are good mums. They produce large, fast-growing lambs. We have some different breeds in here like Rideau, Coopworth, and some other crossbreeds as well. Again, the goal being good, producing good quality meat lambs. And regardless of how we are using the wool or not, that still always has to be the goal with our market here in Ontario. Most of our meat lambs go through a processor that we use, and they supply a lot of local butcher shops. Another part of our business is selling breeding stock to other farmers. So the lambs that don't go for the meat production side of the business, they get picked out either as females or breeding rams to be sold to other producers. So we pay a lot of attention to production records and performance. And the cute ones, they always get to stay. Hi, sweetie. So these are some of the replacements that we're keeping back for our flock here. And so these ones will be the next part of the breeding flock. Nutrition's really important on the farm, especially since we have our production groups year-round. So even in the middle of winter, we need to be able to offer really high-quality feed, especially to the ewes that have baby lambs and the pregnant ewes. So always having that high quality store feed is really important just for how we run our system with our, we call it an accelerated program where there's sheep lambing all year round. So here we are in the new barn. This barn was built specifically for sheep. Here's where we have our young lambs, ewes giving birth, very pregnant ewes, that kind of thing. It's a really amazing barn. It's great in the winter. It's all insulated and keeps them warm, and in the summer it's really nice too because it holds out a lot of the heat from the hot sun. As you can see along the side there, there's a curtain that moves up and down based on the thermostat, so it regulates the temperature in here, and everyone stays really nice and healthy. We've got really good air quality in here, and it's like being outside, except they've got protection from all of the elements. So these are young lambs right here. They're about 4 weeks old. Lambs stay with the ewes for about 2 months, at which point they are eating enough feed themselves and they can be weaned. Those lambs either then move on to being market lambs or the replacement lambs, and then the ewes, once they're weaned, they move on and are put through their next production cycle. So they'll spend some time as weaned ewes, and then we will pick out breeding groups, pick the rams to go with them again, and off they go. So let's talk wool. This is the next group that's due to be sheared. These girls are due to lamb in the next 6 weeks. We do shearing about 4 weeks before lambing, and that just makes sure that they're all nice and clean for when those lambs come, so that the lambs can easily find a clean teat. And because we're lambing more than once a year for each ewe, that also means they're getting sheared more often. So they actually get sheared about every 8 to 10 months, and their fleece length will vary sort of 3 to 6 inches. And with the breed of sheep we have, with the down meat sheep, micron size is anywhere between 25 to 30, so it's a medium wool. Once the wool is sheared, we send it to a mill out in New Brunswick to get spun into yarn, and we also use some local processors here in Ontario to make batting. So this is the raw wool. You can see there's still maybe some vegetable matter in there, and you can see the lanolin or the sheep oil that's in it. So that all gets washed out. And then after that, the wool is carded and all the fibers get lined up, and any of those extra little bits get brushed out, and then it's spun into yarn. Once I get the yarn back from the mill, I do quite a bit of dyeing here at the farm. I'm using different plants and plant materials that I find at the farm, or other sustainably sourced plant and botanical dyes. And we get a number of different weights made. So we have some finer wools, and then also some thicker 3 and 4 ply heavyweight wools as well, yarns as well. I've also been lucky enough to connect with a processor here in Ontario to make wool batting. So this is 100% wool from our farm, just like the yarn. And this is milled in Ontario. So this batting I use for pillows and other bedding here that I produce at the farm. And it can also be used for things like felting and stuffing. Another product we're really fortunate to be able to offer is our sheep and lambskins. We're located really close to our lamb processor as well as a tannery. So we offer our 100% homegrown sheep and lambskins as well. So this is one of the lambs. You can see the lambskins. You can see the beautiful leather on the back and the nice wool on the front.